Senator Thune.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you and Senator Wicker for having this hearing as we head toward a STELA reauthorization, and there are, as has already been pointed out, lots of moving parts on these issues. I'd like to follow up on some things that were stated in the opening remarks. Mr. Powell, question for you, and then for Senator Smith. But Senator Smith argued in his prepared testimony, and I quote, "The removal of broadcasters from the basic tier will have the certainly unintended effect of increasing cable bills for the subscribers who want their local broadcast channels," end quote. Now, that doesn't sound like a good outcome, especially with cable rates that are already increasing every year. So the question is, without the basic tier mandates, would cable companies simply put local broadcast channels on higher tiers and effectively raise the rates on subscribers who want those channels?
I think quite the contrary. Under the retransmission consent regime, Congress has provided a broadcaster a choice. He can either be carried on a cable system under the must-carry provisions without compensation as a guaranteed right of law, or they can elect, essentially, to go on the free market, which is often the conversation they insist on, that we're able to attain the value of the content that we believe it deserves. In that free market, negotiating, in addition to price, the terms and conditions of carriage, including placement, should be something that someone believes that it can be fully compensated should be able to achieve. I will tell you, in fact, a vast majority of cable agreements today with broadcasters often include contractual terms that provide for carriage on the basic tier. I think it's anachronistic to say that you can negotiate supposedly in a free market for carriage, but the government has guaranteed you carriage on a particular tier, and that the American consumer has to buy your product before being allowed to buy any other channel. I think if consumers were freed from that obligation, there would at least be the possibility to do the very thing Senator Smith talks about, which is put up an antenna, get those channels over the air for free, and not have to pay for them additionally as part of someone's cable subscription, which today they have to do. So I actually believe the prospects would be that consumers benefit rather than would have increased costs.
Senator Smith, Mr. Powell suggests in his prepared testimony that eliminating the basic tier purchase mandate, and I quote, would also mean that consumers do not have to pay for such broadcast stations as a condition of receiving cable service, end quote. And you previously testified before this committee that nearly every major television broadcaster now provides its content to viewers in crystal clear, high definition over the air for free. That was a quote from you. So the question is, do you believe that consumers should remain required by law to purchase the channels your members offer over the air for free in order to receive non-broadcast channels?
Senator Thune, a perfect example that happened to a medium-sized market. Senator Johnson's city of Milwaukee, Journal Broadcasting ran into a dispute with Time Warner Cable, a big company versus a little broadcaster. When it was settled, Time Warner had sold their place on the tier to the game show, in which they had a financial interest. Now, I could tell you that the basic tier, was a benefit broadcasting got in the Cable Act, is something of a compensation for all of the burdens of regulation that apply only to us. And so if you're going to take away one benefit, relieve some of the burden, but that really misses the point of why Congress put in the basic tier. The basic tier was put in as a matter of public safety, so that if an elder person in Joplin, Missouri has a tornado bearing down on them, they don't have to go to channel 750 or hunt for their local station. It's where they know it's been, and it's for their convenience, not ours. So when you mess with that, look what happened in Milwaukee. Look what could happen if all of a sudden your CBS channel is in 450, your ABC channel is in the 800s, and NBC is in the 700s. And you got to start hunting. The basic tier is not about us. It's actually about public safety. Now, it applies only to to cable. I don't wish them to have any regulations, but on the other hand, I simply want to remind the committee why it was there in the first place. Now, satellite provides a basic tier. They have no obligation to do that. And why do they do that? Because they need our stuff to sell their subscriptions. And their consumers need to know where ABC is, NBC is, CBS and Fox, so that their local channels are convenient to them.
Mr. Powell, Mr. Palkovic, Jay Huizenga, the general manager of Kello Television in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, recently wrote in an op-ed, and I quote, that it's only fair that the government allow broadcasters to negotiate for retransmission consent revenue, end quote. Do either of you disagree with that statement?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Great. Well, Mr. Chairman, I thank you and thank our panelists for sharing their testimony today.
Thank you.